Hello, folks. Welcome to Naname's classroom this morning. Remember, in this classroom, we say knowledge is what? It's power. So we shall acquire what? Power. I'm going to do so, and I also believe you're also going to acquire power. Because both of us wants to acquire power, let us study down. Let us learn. Remember, knowledge is what? It's power. Folks, we've been looking at settlement geography. Settlement is a place where people live. Remember, I explained to you that it's not only your home. Every place where we have a building is called what? A settlement. And that settlement serves a purpose. Either the person will be there 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, it doesn't matter. But it is a settlement. We look at site and situation. The site is the land and all the things that surrounds, all the problems, they're good or bad, surrounding the area is called the situation. And we look at how it affects the location of what settlement. Yes, looking at the site and the situation, it can influence you whether to choose the settlement or not to choose what? The settlement. Then I came to explain to you the types of settlement that we might have. A settlement can either be rural or what? Urban. We look at them like villages, farmstead, and all those ones, we call them the rural settlement. Then whilst the urban settlement, I made you understand that urban settlements are the towns, the city, the conurbation, the megalopolis. It depends on what the country and how their cities and towns are. So we looked at them. Then we came to the patterns of what? A settlement. Where I explained to you that the patterns is how the buildings are arranged in what? In a settlement. So we looked at two of them, the nucleated and the dispersed settlement. Nucleated, we say the buildings are close to each other, whilst the dispersed one, the buildings are far away from what? From each other. So when you're able to see that, you'll be able to know that, okay, this is rural and urban settlement. In fact, sometimes looking at the arrangement or the patterns will be able to definitely give you the type of settlement, what it is. We look also at some of the advantages and disadvantages. So today too, we are going to continue with what you call the shape of a settlement. Shapes of settlement. So pattern, I would say, is quite different from the shape of what? A settlement. When we say a shape, we say outline. Oh, I'm giving you the shape of this woman. The shape of what? The Coca-Cola bottle is roundish or spherical. So what is a shape? When we are talking of settlement, we are in fact looking at the buildings. So when we say the shape of a settlement, we are talking about the outline of the buildings. How we are able to perceive it, how we are able to see it. So the outline of a settlement is called what? The shape of a settlement. And I've given you a tangible reason, the shape of the bottle. You see this woman's shape, the Coca-Cola shape of this fine woman passing by. So settlement too, we have a shape. The shape is the outline of the settlement by looking at what? The buildings. So the shape of the settlement, we will say, is put into what? Into three categories. We have the linear, we have the round or the square, and we have what? The crossroad. I repeat again, the shape of a settlement can be in these three forms. It's categorized in three forms. We have the linear shape, we have the round or the square shape. We also have what we call the crossroad shape. But for the crossroad, there are different types of them, which we are going to look at. So when we say linear, anything which is linear is in a form of what? A line. So when buildings, the way you perceive the building in a line form, we call it what? A linear shape settlement. I repeat again. Linear shape, you look at what? The buildings. If they are arranged in a line form, it is called what? A linear shape settlement. You see that the houses are located in a line along what? A road. Maybe because of because of transport network, they decide to have their houses next to the road. So you find the buildings are close to the road in a form of a line. Because of the line is what? The road is straight. It makes the building have that shape or the outline. Sometimes it can be a narrow valley if it's in what? In the villages. So if the valley is what? Narrow, you know what is a valley? Between the mountains, when the water is passing through a mountain, we call it what? A valley. So you can see in a line form. So they decide to have their buildings around there. Other ones can also be in what? In a canal, a river, or what? A ridge. So there is a river, a long river in the form of a line. Then you find the buildings around it, taking the shape of the river, the road. That is how a linear shape settlement is formed. And this is the example I've given you here. There is it linear in a form of what? In a form of a line. So this is a road. I've put it here. This is a road. And you can see these people, there's a situation. That's why they decided to come and live here. All of them want to have access to the road. So these are the buildings surrounding the road. So this is a linear settlement. Then let us move on to the next settlement. The next settlement is called round or square. You know, something is spherical and a square in shape. How will you look at it? You look at the building, the way they are arranged. If it's taking a form of a circle, I will put it, a form of a round shape, we say this settlement shape is a round one or a square one. Look at it here. You say houses are grouped around a market square, especially in the village. Normally they have a market square which is spherical. Mostly in the villages, it's in the center of the village. So all the people will decide to have their buildings around it. Then it will be easier. Reason that it will be easier for them to bring their goods and come and sell it in the center of the market. What do you call it? Cars, transport system, is it a bike? All of them will be centered in a central place. So you see the buildings around that market center in a round shape. That becomes a round settlement. Not only that, a water source, let's say an oasis, or let's say a dam. So all of them will decide to have their buildings around such area. Can also find this in a village green area, a central place where nowadays it's demarcated. We call it a park. So it can have that shape, round in shape. Then the buildings will be surrounding that area. So that is how a round or a square settlement shape is found around a circle. Sometimes in places they even look at a cathedral or a church. Maybe most of the time it's round in shape. Then they decide to have their buildings around it. So that is also the second shape of a settlement that I would like us also to look at. So here it is. I've made it more easier for you to notice. So this is an oasis here. You see, a water body. So these people decided to come and live around the oasis. Why? With this one, I would say the situation why they came here, maybe there's shortage of water. You see, so they decided to come and live around here so that they can make use of water during the dry season. So there's the settlement, the buildings which they are going to build around this oasis, make this become a round shape settlement. The last one I would like us to look at is what we call this crossroad settlement. Here, our focus will be on a road, most especially. So a crossroad settlement are three. We have this one we call the cross shape in a form of a shape. So you can see that the road is in a cross. You know how a cross sign is. So the buildings will be around this. When you see this, this is called a cross shape settlement. Then the other one is called a T shape. We normally call it a T junction. You see, you find the road is in a T form. Then the buildings are around this side here. Because here, you can't move here. There's no the road just intersects here, go this side and go this side. So you find them living on this side. So some can also be on top here. So it will be in the form of a T. So we call it a T-shape settlement. So you have to look at the buildings to be able to know whether this is a T-shape or not. Then another one is the cross shape. You know how a cross shape, a star shape, if I may be precise, yeah, that is a star. How a star looks like. Mostly, a star shape normally comes out when the place is unplanned. So see people building houses haphazardly around that area. So these are the buildings in the form of what? A shape of what? Of a star, taking the outline of the road to have those buildings what? Around it. So these are the types of what? Settlement shape that we have. Remember, in this class today, we learned about the shape of a settlement. The shape of the settlement, I said the outline, how the buildings are arranged. We have linear, we have round, we have what? Crossroad. Thank you so much for being in my class. See you next time. Remember, knowledge is what? Is power. So keep acquiring what? Knowledge. See you soon. Bye.